Well, we are back at it because we have some new free index cards from Games Workshop for Warhammer 40k just dropped, and these are the Space Marine index cards. Now, of course, we actually got Codex Space Marine index cards dropped last Friday, and before that we had the Tyranids dropped last Thursday, but this one is for all your special Space Marine chapters, where we're talking Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Space Wolves, Black Templars, and the Deathwatch. This will be focusing on their unique units, and we're going to go through each one of these in turn, talk about all of them, and talk about what we can expect from these guys on the tabletop. So with that said, let's get kicking off. They're all here, free to download all these index cards. So let's start with the Blood Angels, and we look at the army faction restriction. Your army can include Blood Angels unit, but cannot include any Adeptic Studies units drawn from any other chapter. So this is just stating that, we can't have things like Tyrannic War Veterans, etc. from the core Astartes units. Red Thirst is each time an Adeptic Studies unit from your army is selected to fight. If that unit made a charge move this turn until the end of the phase, add 1 to their strength and attacks. This goes so well with so many things in the book. I think Combat Marines are 100% on the table. Looking at this, when myself and Idaeus were having a look at it, we were quite excited about Combat Marine armies. And so we have a lot of different stratagems. So to start with, we have Angel Sacrifice. You can target one unit from your army that was just destroyed until the end of the battle. Each time a friendly unit that makes an attack that targets an enemy unit that just destroyed your character unit, you can reroll the hit. Effectively, if you can make martyrs effectively out of your characters that inspire the rest of your troops. Armor of Contempt, we've seen this, -1 AP on a unit of our choice during the fight or shooting phase. And then we've got Aggressive Onslaught, where you can target one of your Adeptus Astartes unit from your army just before the unit consolidates. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a consolidation, you can move up to 6 inch instead of 3 inch, providing your point ends the consolidation, move in unit coherency, and within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. So you can charge multiple times effectively during the course of the turn, lock your opponent in, stop being able to get shot. This is really, really good. If your opponent's playing with like screens, that means they have to play really deep with the screens. And you can potentially drop things in between. This will be where units like Inceptors dropping between lines could be really useful and set up with an Aggressive Onslaught as a threat. Red Rampage, one Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase until the end of the phase. Melee weapons equipped have both lance and lethal hits, which is super solid. And then we go, only in death does duty end, and Adeptus Astartes from your unit selected as the target of one or more attacks. And this is fight on death. And Relentless Assault as well. Your movement phase just after, and until the end of the phase, unit is able to declare a charge even if it fell back. So slightly different. Normally it's shoot when you fall back and stuff like that, but really, really cool. Now we have enhancements. We've got 4 of them to begin with. Adeptus Astartes model only. Artisan of War is improve the bearer's weapons, AP of the bearer's weapons by 1, and a save characteristic of 2+. So a slight modification of the Artificer armor, obviously losing out on the Invon, but gaining the bonus AP, which is good because we're playing a combat army. Visage of Death, Adeptus Studies model, while an enemy unit, excluding monster vehicle, is within engagement range, halve their objective control characteristic. This is really cool. Objective control is going to be a huge stat in the new edition, so really, really powerful. I think it's one of the 2 key things I've taken as major rules coming in. Objective control, along with, of course, Battle Shock. If you read or listened to our views on Tyranids, I think they've definitely got a lot of ways to play with that. Even the Space Marines do as well. And then Archangel Shard, Adeptus Astartes model only. The bearer's melee weapons have the Anti-Chaos 5+ and Lance abilities. Very specific, but if you're playing a campaign, or in Crusade or something, this could be a really cool one to take. Then we have the Icon of the Angel, Adeptus Astartes model only. Each time an enemy unit, monster, or vehicle within engagement range of the bearer's unit is selected to fall back, models in that enemy unit must take a Desperate Escape test, as if their unit were Battle Shock, subtracting 1 from those tests as well. And so now we start looking at the different characters. Astorath the Grim. So he's got Redeemer of the Lost. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in the unit is destroyed by melee attack on a 4+, you can fight with them before they're removed from play. This is cool. This saves you on CP. Then we've got Mass of Doom. Once per battle, when this model's unit makes a charge, this model can use his ability. When it does until the end of turns, melee weapons used by model in that unit have devastating wounds. He can join Death Company Marines with jump packs, which is really, really cool. His Executioner Axe is pretty nice. Strength 6 AP -3 is really good. solid all around. Now the Bile Predator, obviously, we are going to look at the Bile Flamestorm cannon here. It's going to be the big thing. Ignores cover torrent, d6 plus 3, auto hitting, strength 6, minus 2 AP, damage 2. Pretty cool. And the overcharged engines as well. You can reroll advanced rolls for the model. However, each time this model advances until the end of the turn, ranged weapons equipped by this model have the assault ability, but they can only target infantry. So, cool. Brother Corbulo, Sanguinary Priest, gives the unit he's leading 5+ Feel No Pain, and the Red Grail Marvelous models are leading a unit. You can add one to their attacks as well. Nice. That's pretty sweet, Brother Corbulo there. And he can lead Assault Squads, Devastators, Tactical, and Vanguard Veterans. I like him in a Vanguard Veteran squad. That sounds pretty appealing. Captain Tycho. Do we have Death Company version? Maybe down later. It's not the next one. Mephiston's next. But Gifted Commander, while this model is leading a unit, each time they select to shoot, you select one of the following abilities to apply to ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit. Nice. Assault Heavy Rapid Fire. And the first time an attack is allocated to this model after attacking unit has finished making attacks until the end of the battle. Change the attacks characteristic of Dead Man's Hand to 12. That's really cool. That gets better. If you target him, he gets really angry. So we do have, there we go, Tycho the Lost there. We will get rules for him. Cool, we have both versions of Tycho, which is nice. Chief Librarian Mephiston, obviously one of the newer models for the faction at the moment. We have his melee weapon with damage D3 at strength 9 for Vataris. And then he's got some cool psychic powers up there with nice strength 5 there. And sustained hits 3. Wow! That's really cool. He's then got a couple of psychic powers. So he has the Quickening, where he can fights first, and also Transfixing Gaze. At the start of the fight phase, you can select one enemy unit with engagement range. On a 1, the psycho stuff is D3, or a 2 to 5. Until the end of the phase, you worsen the weapon skill characteristic of weapons used by models in that enemy unit by 1. On a 6, worsen their weapon skills and attacks. You can lead Assault Intercessors, and Stern Guard. And then we have, of course, Commander Dante. Lord Regent of Imperium Nihilus. While this model is leading a unit, add 1 to charge rolls and 1 to their hit rolls. And the Deathmaster Sanguinius, -1 for battle shock tests. Along with the armor, he's going to be really, really cool. And he can lead Assault Squads, Sanguinary Guard, and Vanguard Veteran Squads with jump packs. Now, looking at the Death Company Dreadnoughts, I can't wait till we get what we've got, the redemptive versions of these. I hope we do one day. But Black Rage, each time one of this unit makes an attack, you can reroll a hit roll, and while this model is within 12 inches of one or more friendly chaplains, it cannot be selected to fall back, and its objective control is 0. But Frenzied Reprisal, each time an enemy unit attacks this model after the unit has finished making attacks, this model can either shoot as if it were a shooting phase, or fight as if it were the fight phase. Wow, that's cool. Nice. And then we've got Death Company Intercessors. You can target them once per turn for the Fire Overwatch stratagem for 0 CP. And the Black Rage is the exact same rule as we've seen. And they've also got Feel No Pain 6+ as standard. Death Company Marines are pretty similar. Black Rage, Feel No Pain 6+, but also Honorable Death. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack, that attack has sustained hit 1. And if the unit is below starting strength, or the sustained hits ability for this unit if it's below half strength, which is pretty cool. Death Company Marines with thing. Berserk Fury, they can just reroll charge if they're the jump pack version. Nice. If a chaplain, a model from your army with the leader ability, can be attached to Assault Squad with jump packs, it can be attached to this unit instead. Okay, cool. So you can attach Furioso Dreadnought, Wrathful Revenge. So each time a model selected to fight, it can do some mortal wounds. It doesn't get to flat out attack, but it can make some mortal wounds, which is cool. And then Gabriel Seth, Whirlwind of Gore. Each time a model fights until the fight is resolved, add 1 to the attacks for every 5 models within 6 inch, and he has 6 base, damage 3. He can be pretty nasty. And while this model is leading a unit, that unit is eligible to charge while they advance. I like Seth a lot. Nice. And he can go in... He can't go in Stern Guard. He can go in Vanguard, Tactical Command, and Assault Squads. Lamartes has Guardian of the Lost, subtract 1 from damage for the attacks. And Fury Unbound, while he's leading the unit, he gives lethal hits out. And he, of course, can lead Death Company Marines with jump packs. Librarian Dreadnought here. Bloodlance is D6 damage and sustained hits D3 or D6 plus 3 damage on the Focused Witchfire version. Nice. We then have the Furious Fist. Yeah, wow, he's packing some heat. Shield of Sanguinius, 5 knots, feel no pain against mortal wounds and psychic powers. And then Wings of Sanguinius get some extra movement. Sanguinary Guard. Next, Angelic Visage. Subtract 1 from hit rolls when you're targeting them. And while your Warlord is leading this unit, each time a melee attack targets this unit, you subtract 1 from the wound roll. Wow. So they can be -1 to hit and wound in combat. And they also add 1 to their objective control if they've got the banner in the unit to go to objective control 2. Lastly, I think... No, not lastly. So we've got the Sanguinary Priest. 5+ feel no pain. And improve AP by 1. Nice. Really nice. Also, I love the Sanguinary Guard. Like the full round chainsword. Is really cool. You can go Assault, Devastator, Tactical, and Vanguard Veteran squads. And it can also be attached while the Captain, Chaplain, Master, or Lieutenant's still there. The Sanguinor and Carmine Broadsword. Devastating wounds, melee, 8 attacks, weapon skill 2+, strength 6, -3 AP, damage 2. Deep Strike. Fights first, lone operative. So he always fights first, which is nice. You can reroll battle shock tests around him, which is going to be massive. And once per battle, at the end of your opponent's charge, if this model's still in reserves, you can select one enemy unit that made a charge. Set this model up on the battlefield with gain engagement range of the enemy. Wow. That's really cool. That can really turn the tide of a battle, especially with like his decent output. Yeah, he's really, really cool. He obviously can't join units because he's a lone fighter. And then you've got Tycho, the Lost here. Pretty similar there. But Sanguinary Priest with jump pack, what we expect. And that rounds out the force. I really dig the Sanguinor in all that. What are your thoughts of the Blood Angels, though? Let us know. If you're a Blood Angels player, let us know what you think of all the Blood Angels stuff. And so, next up, we have the Dark Angels. So, restrictions obviously can't include other chapter units. Grim Resolve. When a Adeptic Studies unit from your army is battle shock, change the objective control characteristic to a 1 instead of 0. This is huge. Such a good rule. I really think people are sleeping on how big objective control is going to be. It's going to be a huge, huge rule. This is really powerful. No, you're not ignoring battle shock entirely, but yeah, being able to still count for objective control is massive. The fact you've got a number here, you can combine with banners to give you +1 again. And so, we have our CP. So, we have Armor of Contempt, like we fully expect for Space Marines. We then have Unforgiven Fury, where in your shooting or fight phase, you select an Adeptic Studies unit and they'll gain lethal hits. If one or more Adeptic Studies unit from your army are currently battle shocked, though, you will have the critical hits happening on a 5+. Intractable is until the end of your turn. That unit is eligible to shoot or charge, even if it fell back, is really nice on one of your Adeptic Studies units. Fire Discipline, shooting phase, Adeptic Studies unit, and you'll gain Assault Heavy and ignores cover. We then have 2 more. Grin Retribution during your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit shot, and you can shoot as if it were your shooting phase, but it must target the enemy unit that just attacked you. This is really cool. And this can go really nicely if you pair it with some of the particular combos. I'm thinking like Phobos Marines with a Invictus Tactical Warsuit. If the Phobos Marines get shot, the Tactical Warsuit can shoot back for them. And then you could use this to shoot back with the Phobos Marines as well to really put some power in. There's some cool things you can do with it, definitely. And Unbreakable Lions during your opponent's charge phase, just after an enemy unit is charged, one of your units that wasn't charged in engagement range. Till the end of the turn, you subtract 1 from damage done to you. Enhancements, the Shroud of Heroes. The first time this bear is destroyed on a d6, you roll a d6 on a 2+, they get back up with 3 wounds remaining. Stubborn Tenacity, while the bear is leading a unit, each time a model unit makes an attack, you add 1 to the hit roll of the bearer's unit if it's below its starting strength, and 1 to the roll as well if it is battle shocked. You then get the Heavenfall Blade. Add 1 to attack, strength, and damage of your weapons while the bearer is battle shocked. You add 2 to all these things instead. And then Pennant of Remembrance, the Blade Guard Ancient, any of your banner bearers effectively. While the bearer is leading a unit, models in the unit have Feel No Pain 6+, and while the unit is battle shocked, models in the unit have Feel No Pain 4+ instead. And so, moving on, we now go to have a look at the units. And first of all, we start with Azrael. So not an awful lot will change about him. Pretty similar all around. Supreme Grandmaster, he'll gain sustained hits when to a unit he leads, and he can give you some extra CP. On top of that, the Lion Hell models in the Bearer's unit have a 4-up Invon. In addition, once per battle, anytime the Bearer can summon the Watcher in the dark, and when he does until the end of the phase, Bearer's unit will have Feel No Pain 4+ against mortal wounds as well. Pretty cool. He can lead a variety of different units. Pretty much all our standard sort of Mark 10 units. We then have Belial, who's obviously going to be really cool with all the new Terminators rocking out. Grandmaster of the Deathwing, he can give, while the model is leading this unit, each model in the unit makes an attack. Critical hit is scored. They have the precision ability. Wow, that's really, really cool. Being able to assassinate characters and units is nice. Strikes of Retribution. Each time a melee attack is allocated to this model, after the attacking model has finished making its attack, you roll a d6 on a 2+. The attacking unit suffers a mortal wound. To a maximum of 6d6 per attacking unit. Pretty cool. So he can, like, fight out. I like it. And he can, of course, lead all your different Terminator units. Samael will be able to lead bikes, Black Knights, all of them. Good things. Grandmaster of the Raven Wing, shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced, as you would expect would be his ability. And then cut off their escape. Each time an enemy unit with engagement range is selected to fall back, models in the enemy unit must make desperate escapes. And if that enemy unit is also battle shocked, they subtract 1. Ezekiel, this has Psychic Hood, Engulfing Fear. Ooh, just flat out make a battle shock test. Yeah, cool. That's just nice. Anything that forces battle shock is good. Books of Salvation, while this model is leading a unit, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of melee weapons equipped by that unit. When this model is destroyed, each friendly Adeptic Studies unit within 6 inch must take a battle shock test, is what I should say. That's not as bad as it sounds, because obviously there are some ways you can gain benefits to taking those battle shock with Dark Angels, so interesting. Asmodai, Exemplar of Hate, reroll hit rolls if he's leading a unit in their melee attacks, and then Feared Interrogator, start of the fight phase. If the enemy character within 6 inches model must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1, and each time the model destroys an enemy character model with melee attack, you gain 1 CP, as he's an interrogator. We'll then go into the Raven Wing Talonmaster. This is cool that we're keeping all this sort of stuff for the Dark Angels. This is really cool. Fullback and advance and 9 inch and all of that. Nowhere to hide while a friendly Adeptic Studies mounted or a fly vehicle is within 6 inch. They'll have the ignores cover rule. Pretty nice. And then, of course, you've got a Power Sword on there as well. Power Sword and a Land Speeder always amazes me. I love it. We then have Lazarus as well, the character that came out sort of start of last edition. Intractable Wheel, while this model is leading a unit, each model in that unit is destroyed by melee attack on a 4+. They can fight before death, which is nice. And especially good because I don't think we saw anything about fighting and death in combat with Dark Angels, did we? Could be wrong. I could be thinking of Blood Angels. Spirit Shoot Helmet, Feel No Pain 3+ against Psychic Attack and Mortals. Nice. Deathwing Strike Master, lethal hits he gives out, and each time a model makes an attack, it targets an enemy unit below half strength, add 1 to hit and wound rolls. Command Squad for the Deathwing, Banner, Narthesium, doing what you expect them to do from the Space Marines before. And Honor of Death, add 1 to advance and charge rolls if you've got the company champion in there. Deathwing Terminator Squad, these are really cool. Deathwing, each time one unit makes an attack, you can ignore any of, so they're pretty much Terminators. Just the big thing on Deathwing Terminator units is they're able to mix up between combat and shooty and tactical dreadnought units. That's really their big thing. Deathwing Knights, in a circle, you subtract 1 from damage that comes into them, which is nice. And once per battle, anytime this unit can summon the Watcher in the Dark, and when it does until the end of the phase, all models unit have Feel No Pain 4+. Place a Watcher in the Dark token next to them and then remove it. Pretty cool. They've got Sustained Hits 1 on their Flails of Unforgiven and Maces of Absolution and damage 3. Pretty solid all round, I think. Raven Wing Command Squad. What you expect from all of those, it's the exact same. They're just on bikes. Ravenwing Black Knights, the Knights of Caliban. Each time this unit selected a fight, if it made charge move this turn, to the end of the phase, models equipped by melee weapons equipped by the unit have anti-monster and anti-vehicle 4+. Nice. I like the Ravenwing. The Dark Shroud, Icon of Old Caliban. While a friendly Adeptic Studies unit within 6 inch, models have the stealth and that unit has the benefit of cover as well, so providing pretty much what it does for now. A nice little debuff wagon is cool. But now we're looking at Land Speed of Vengeance, one of my favourites. Once per turn in your opponent's shooting phase, when a friendly Adeptic Studies unit within 6 inches destroyed, this model can use this ability. If it does, the attacking unit is finished making attacks. This model can shoot. Oh, wow. That's amazing when you consider that Plasma Storm battery. Look at that damage that thing can do. Yeah, wow. This thing will put out some serious hurt. Nice. I really like that. Ravenwing Dark Talent, the Stasis Bomb. So, Mortal Wounds there. Can't advance full back or must remain stationary for entirety. Nice. I like it. The Rift Cannon looks pretty cool, as does the Hurricane Bolter. Damage 3 on the Rift Cannon is pretty cool. Then we go, obviously, to the Nephilim Jet Fighter. Lightning Fast Maneuvers, so subtract 1 from hit rolls, and if attack was made by a model with fly, subtract 1 from wound rolls as well. So it's a dedicated fighter plane, as you would expect. And then the Lion himself, as we fully expect him to be. All great. Check out that sweep attack with 16 attacks with Fealty. Primarch of the First Legion there. Yeah, he is everything we sort of have seen for the Lion already. We got a bit of him teased before. He is going to hurt things. And so, of course, after the Dark Angels, we need to go with their best friends, the Space Wolves, which I've just picked up the Combat Patrol for. Really quite excited to play Combat Patrol. So I picked up the Combat Patrol. We've seen Deeds of Worthy Saga. They effectively can pick one very similar to what they've already have. Now, they do have some restrictions, like you'd expect. No tactical assault squad with command, jump packs, devastator squads, command squads, or Primaris Apothecaries allowed in their army. Now, I do have Armor Contempt, which we know what that does by this point. Go for the throat. So, AP, characteristic of weapons by 1, and Saga of the Beach, you can also gain a lance. So, I like that the Saga is getting tied into the stratagems is cool. Your opponent's shooting phase, until the end of the phase, if your unit has to feel no pain. If it's targeted by mortal wounds and psychic, and Saga of the Bear will turn this to a 4. Death Howl, is fight phase. Until the end of the phase, each model unit makes a consolidation move of 6 inch, and they have to end, near enemy units. But Saga of Majesty, and when it ends the move, your opponent has to also make a battle shock test. Warrior Pride, there, select one saga that has not yet been completed. Till the end of your turn, models in the character's unit benefit from sagas that has completed by your army. That's really cool. And Relentless Assault, we've seen what that does, sort of, until the end of the phase. But it also adds, if the Saga of a Warrior Born is completed by your army until the end of the turn, you can also declare a charge. Cool. So, Pelt of Beowulf. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit with engagement range must take a battle shock test. That's really cool. Really good. Anti-vehicle bonuses here for Black Death. Wolftail Talisman, each time an attack is allocated to the berry, subtract 1 from the damage. That's nice as well. Minus damage is always good. Remembering damage has been really toned down in the current edition, so I think that you can minus damage things are really good. Bearer's melee weapons have precision, and the AP and strength are improved by 1 as well. So going into the specific units, obviously Logan Grimnar on his Santa Claus Chariot. Hiking Ephemeris, once per battle round in your charge phase, this model can use this ability. Can reroll charge rolls for your army, and until the end of turn, each time an Adeptic Studies from your army, makes an attack, you can reroll hits. And then you also gain a CP every time he destroys a unit, because your army likes heroes. Okay, so that wasn't him on Storm Rider, sorry. This is him on foot. He has a Storm Rider profile down below. He can join all the different termies. Logan Grimnar on Storm Rider. So what does Storm Rider grant him? A little bit more. We've got 5, 2, 6, 6, 1. So objective control 4, toughness 6, doubles his wounds, which is nice, and obviously increases that move to 10. Other than that, he's got the same, and he can actually join Thunderwolf Cavalry. All right. Digging that he can join Thunderwolf Cavalry. That definitely gets a big yes from me. Now, Stormcaller. I just finished reading the Stormcaller book a couple of weeks ago now. Really, really good. Second book in the Chris Wright series of Space Wolf books. I really recommend that series. Starts with the Blood of Asserheim. I'm currently reading the last one of them as well, which is Hellwinter. Stormcaller can give stealth to a unit he's leading, and psychic attacks the target model, subtract 1 from wound rolls. He's also got his Living Lightning. I have so many memories of Living Lightning from the Deathwatch RPG when one of my mates was playing the Space Wolf and just obliterated people with it. It was amazing. Can join all the different Terminators. Bjorn the Fell-Handed. I know people like this big boxy Dreadnought of Bjorn, but I really want to see Bjorn get a brand new chassis. I hope they make a story and his Dreadnought body gets destroyed, but his sarcophagus is fine. That was almost a really bad slip of the tongue. Sarcophagus is fine, and then he gets put into a Redemptor with his same weaponry. It would be amazing. But he has half the damage, which, wow, half the damage. Not -1 like normal Dreadnoughts, half. And then Ancient Tactician once per battle. If he does, this model can use the ability and increase the stratagem's cost to your opponent by 1 CP, which is really cool. Aryak Rock Fist. Wow, really not doing well with the very simple Space Wolf names. Anvil of Endurance. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in the unit makes an attack, add 1 to hit roll, and if it's below starting strength, add 1 to wound roll as well. You can target the model with the Epic Challenge stratagem for 0 CP. Now, he can join Captain or Chapter Master, obviously, so the idea is you can actually put him with Logan Grimnar and a unit of Termies. Ulfric the Slayer, the Slayer's Oath. So he's got his own particular oath. So while this model is leading a unit, at the start of the fight phase, select one enemy unit with engagement range to this model's unit. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that model's unit makes a melee attack that targets an enemy unit, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 and reroll wound rolls of 1. If that enemy unit is a character, vehicle, or monster until the end of phase, each time a model in the unit makes a melee attack, you can just reroll the rolls altogether. Now, Wolfhelm of Russ. So while friendly Adeptic Studies unit within 6 inch, they have a leadership characteristic of 5+, which is really nice. And he can lead Bloodclaws, Grey Hunters, Longfangs, and Wolfguard. Ragnar Blackmane, on the other hand, we have Warhowl. While this model is leading a unit, that unit is eligible to declare a charge in which advanced, and he adds 2 to his attacks and strengths when he charges. With Frostfang, that's pretty cool. He goes to 10 attacks at strength 8. Love it. He can lead a variety. He can lead Blade Guard, Assault Intercessors. He can lead a mix, which is really cool. He can lead a variety of different units. Crom Dragon Gaze, so refuse to accept defeat. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll and add 1 to the wound roll if they're below half strength. In its shooting phase, you can select 1 enemy infantry within 12 inch and visible. That enemy unit must take a battle shock test. Nice. He can lead a Bloodclaw, Grey Hunter, and Wolfguard. Strange that he can't lead the Intercessors, seeing as he's the one that sort of brings them into the fold. Harold Deathwolf is there as well. So Lord of the Wolf King, he can give devastating wounds if a unit charges, which is cool. Mantle of the Troll King, once per phase when resolving an attack made against this model, you can change the damage characteristic to 0, and obviously he's leading Thunderwolf Cavalry. Canis Wolfborn next. Born of the Wolves, while this model is leading a unit, melee weapons have sustained 1. And each time this model ends a charge, you can do some mortal wounds. Obviously, Fenrisian Wolves and Thunderwolf Cavalry are what he can lead. Fenrisian Wolves is an interesting one. We'll see what they look like. Wolfguard Battle Leader is very much, your standard sort of character there. Lethal hits is what he provides to his unit. And while he's attached to a unit that contains another character, all models in the unit have a field paying 4+. So he is effectively like they're going to be treated like lieutenants. Wolflord on Thunderwolf, +1 advance and charge rolls for his unit, and then Rites of Battle, what you expect that to be. Wolfguard Battle Leader, very much the same. Lethal hits with tactical precision, but once per battle in your opponent's shooting phase. They can do some movement, which is cool. Bloodclaws get Berserk Charge, add 1 to their attacks and strength when they charge. Other than that, that is what they are. Grey Hunters can fall back, eligible to shoot in turn in which they fell back or advance. Very similar to Attack Marines. Wolfguard themselves, chosen champions. While a character model is leading a unit, each time a model in the unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. And then we got Lucas the Trickster. Pelt of the Doppelganger. He can subtract 1 from hit rolls while he's leading a unit, which is nice. And if this model is destroyed by melee attack, he will do the mortal wounds like he does. He can lead blood claws. Wolfguard Terminators, which is the same sort of rule we expect for Terminators here. Hounds of Morkai. These are going to be interesting because I've got a unit of these in the combat patrol. Excuse me. In your shooting phase, select an enemy unit within 12 inches. That unit needs to take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the result if they're a psyker. That unit is stunned until your next shooting phase, and while the unit's stunned, each time an attack made with each time a model in that unit makes a psychic attack, you subtract 1 from the hit rolls. Nice. Wolfen, Death Frenzy, they can fight before they die. Wolfen, Dreadnought, Bestial Rage, does mortal wounds when he charges. And Murderfang here, each time an enemy unit targets it. Wow, yeah, he's got the whole fight after you die, which is awesome. Very similar to the Blood Angel Dreadnoughts there. A little bit uninteresting, but cool to see, very similar things. Furious Charge for Thunderwolf Cavalry, +1 damage on a turn they charge is nice. Fenris and Wolves charge in advance, which is cool. Not an awful lot, but they are probably going to be dirt cheap. Skyclaws, headstrong, they are what you think. Longfangs here are going to be an interesting one with Fire Discipline. Each time they remain stationary, if they include a pack leader, you can select 1 enemy unit visible until the end of the turn. Each time a model unit makes a ranged attack that targets the enemy unit, reroll hit rolls of 1, and once per battle, like the Amorian Cherub for the regular Devastators. Stormfang, Frozen Prey. In the shooting phase, after this model has shot, if an enemy monster or vehicle is hit, they get some minuses to movement. Storm Wolf, if his unit disembarks from transport before it moves until the end of the turn, that unit is eligible to charge in a turn in which it advanced. Wow. Okay, nice. Wolfguard Pack Leader. Oh, let's have a look. Transport. What can it transport? And it can transport Gravis and Terminator. And Centurion models, and indeed all Primaris. Nice. Like that a lot. Wolfguard Pack Leader, what you expect him to be. Jump pack in there. So your Wolfguard Pack Leaders are like your small sort of characters. What's it saying about it? And yeah, you can stick them in even if you've got other characters in there. The Iron Priest, very similar here to your regular sort of dude. And then Cyber Wolf's there as well. Wolf Scouts, Guerrilla Tactics, very similar to Scout Squads, got nothing special. Space Wolf's Venerable Dreadnought, can reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1 to units nearby it. And that is that for the Space Wolves. A really nice piece of art here at the end as well. And so, next up is the Black Templars, another army I've got on the go. I picked up a couple of the Space Marine boxes. I actually picked up the Black Templars launch box. I've got the artwork up there. It's a fantastic piece of art. I know that book is out of date, but I'm probably going to get that book, because I love that piece of artwork, and especially now, it just has so much cool imagery to it. Now, obviously, you can't include any Psykers, and cannot include any of the following models that do not have the Black Templars keyword: Lancer, Gladiator Reaper, Gladiator Valiant, Impulsor, Repulsor, Repulsor, Executioner. And your army cannot include Black Templar units, and standard sort of thing we've seen. Templar Vows. You can effectively pick one of these vows at the start of the first battle range. Select one of the 4 Templar Vows to be active for units for the entire battle, which is pretty cool. And our stratagem. Fervent Acclamation. Select one Templar Vow that is not active, and until the end of the turn, the character unit you've selected with this can use it and have it active. No escape in your opponent's movement phase when a unit selected to fall back, and roll 1d6, adding 1 to the result if the accept any challenge no matter the odds vow is active. On a 4+, the enemy unit cannot fall back and must remain stationary, otherwise the unit can fall back. But if it does so, it must make desperate escape. I like this a lot because it's paying a CP. You get to do the cool thing, but if you don't get to do entirely cool things, something still happens. Really good rules design there. Not letting you spend a CP for nothing effectively. So your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy a unit has shot. Select an enemy friendly Adeptic Studies unit from your army that had any models destroyed, and they can make a normal move of D6. This reminds me so much of the original Black Templars Codex that came out way, way, way back. I'm thinking like was probably 05, 06, maybe, even before that, potentially. When Black Templars very first got that first book after the War for Armageddon, this was a rule that the army just had, was cool. We don't have the Righteous Crusader stratagem. Armor of Contempt, what you expect. Crusader's Wrath. Improve your AP by 1 and can potentially get bonus strength in there as well during the fight phase. And Vicious Riposte. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in the unit has 4, you can add 1 to the result. On 4+, they can fight. So very standard sort of things. We then get the enhancement, so we get the Perdition's Edge. Improve the strength and AP of the characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons by 1, and you also get +1 attack if a particular vow is active. I like that they're really playing into the vows. This is something cool. I like that you've got options here. So if you play in this vow, this is the relic you should be choosing. It's the Psycho 4+ Devastating Wound and Precision on Witch Seeker bolts, and can also reroll hit and wound rolls if you've got the Abhor the Witch. Sigismund's Seal, improve AP by 1, and you can also critical hits on a 5+ as well. And then Tannhaus's Bones. Each time an attack is allocated, you halve the damage. Wow. And also against Feel No Plus. I feel like that'll keep your characters alive. You're already pretty choppy with Black Templars, so that could be really good. Chaplain Grimaldus to start with. So Chaplain Grimaldus is leading a unit. Each time a model unit makes a melee attack, you can reroll the hit roll. And in command phase, if the unit contains 1 or more Cenobite servitors, select 1 relic of the Emperor Ascendant. Until the start of your next phase, Chaplain Grimaldus has this ability, which can be unit he's in can charge in a turn in which they advance or fell back, feel no pain 5+, or increase their armor penetration characteristic of melee weapons by 1. Really nice, and you can join a bunch of Primaris units there. We don't have the Crusader squad, so this is the base one. They get rerolls, advance, and charges. And then the High Marshal Helbrecht next. Crusade of Wrath. While this model is leading a unit, add 1 to the strength characteristic of melee weapons each time an attack is made with such a weapon. A successful unmodified hit of a 5+ scores critical hits. At the start of the fight phase, select 1 enemy unit within engagement range, and they'll do some mortal wounds as well. And then he can join particular units. Now, here we go, the Primaris Intercessor Squad. Same base rule, cool. And also Scouts 6, I didn't see that before. That's cool. Primaris Sword Brethren can pretty much choose what Blade Guard Veterans to do, +1 attack or +1 damage. Well, not exactly what Blade Guard Veterans do, but the same sort of idea of having 2 different things they can apply in the fight phase. Emperor's Champion. Now let's have a look at him. Black Sword. If he's sweeping, wow, he can clear out hordes and he can do some serious damage with that. Nice. Once per phase, when a melee attack is put against him, he can just deflect it for 0 damage. And each time he targets a character, he gets +1 a wound, and he can join a bunch of different Primaris units. Castellan as well in there. Gives out lethal hits and can give the fallback and charge. Can join a variety of units and also join a unit that already has a captain or chapter master. We then have our Martial Rites of Battle as we expect, and Finest Hour. He's exactly like a captain there. And Black Templars Gladiator Lancer. So these are all just going to have multi-melter options on them, is effectively what we are seeing for all of these, because this is what Black Templars do. Have multi-melters on a bunch of these things, yep. That is just the difference here. Impulsor, the same thing. Multi-melter. Repulsor, I believe that is literally just going to be it. It's just going to be sticking all of the different multi-melters on their units. But what have you thought of the last couple? I'm quite excited for my Black Templars. Been an army I've been into for a long time and looking forward to getting some on the table. And so lastly, we have the Deathwatch, one of my favourite armies. I've always loved the Deathwatch. I really got heavy into 40k after I started playing the Deathwatch RPG. I always sort of liked 40k as a game, but once the Deathwatch RPG kicked in, it really sort of pushed my liking of the 40k setting to a new level. And so we've got all the different kill teams in here. Obviously you can't have all these particular different units, so we've got all the mission tactics where we can choose a particular tactic to be using for the army. We've got an Armor of Contempt, Adaptive Tactics allows us to choose one of our different tactics we can choose. Teleportarium allows us to drop units into the battle. Hellfire rounds can give some anti-infantry and anti-monster abilities. We've then got the Kraken rounds and Dragonfire rounds giving us different bonuses against different particular types of units. But Thief of Secrets, I'm glad they've kept some of the names in here. Thief of Secrets improved damage, strength, and AP by 1, and if an enemy model is destroyed as a result of attacks made by the bearer, that will go to 2, which is nice. Osseous Key, pretty good against vehicle units. Adeptic Studies units can take this and use the Deep Strike ability for 0 CP. Tome of Ectolides, Ectoclades, I think is how you pronounce it. However you pronounce this name. So after you've selected an enemy unit by using Open Moment ability in the command phase, select this enhancement as if they are on the battlefield, and when you do so, a second enemy unit can do so. Nice. And then of course we go to Watchmaster, who's going to have strategic knowledge, advance and fall back. After a unit is eligible to shoot or declare a charge after it does either of it, and the Watchmaster can give you some extra CP. And join Deathwatch veterans or a Proteus kill team. Watch Captain Artemis there is the unstoppable champion, so he can do some mortal wounds. Sorry, not do mortal wounds. He gets back up. He can't sort of be taken out easily. On the 2+, he just gets back up on the battlefield within engagement range with a wound remaining. While this model is leading a unit as well, you can target the unit with a stratagem, even if that stratagem's already been used. And you can join Proteus kill teams and Deathwatch veterans. Kill Team Cassius is in there. They've got everything you expect. Their big thing is each time a unit takes a battleshock test or leadership test, you can reroll the result. Deathwatch veterans. So each time... So this is the old Deathwatch kill team. Each time the model unit makes an attack, you reroll hit rolls of 1. If the target of that attack does not have the Imperium or Chaos keywords, you can reroll the hit roll instead. Cool. And then Deathwatch Terminator Squad is there. Exactly what you expect. Each time this enemy uses a charge move, they can do the Battleshock tests. Veteran Bike Squad, Turbo Boost. There's not an awful lot of difference here in a lot of the units. The Corvus Blackstar, though, can have the Blackstar Grenade Launcher, can transport as well. 12 Adeptic Studies models, and can, of course, have everything, and can even have mounted units inside, which is awesome. We then have the Proteus kill team, which will be made up of various different models. So 5 to 10 kill team veterans. So this is a mix of Terminators, Bikers, and all that, all the other Marines. Fortis kill team here is going to be made up of Intercessors of various different, and Outriders. And they will get add 1 to hit rolls, they're below half strength. Indominator kill team is each time on the unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll if it's below staying strength, and 1 to the wound roll if it's below half strength. Cool. They will have the option for heavy intercessors and all of that good stuff. Spectrus kill team is, of course, all the Reaver and all the thing. They've got Spectrus Doctrine, so they can, at the end of your opponent's move phase, if it's 6 inches away from all enemy units, they can take off the table. And that's that for the Deathwatch. A little bit interesting. I really look forward to seeing more Deathwatch. I really hope we get boxes of actual Deathwatch kill teams and not just a mix of the different models from units. We get an update of the Deathwatch Veterans kit to Primaris would be the best outcome, I think. But that is all the different Marines. There is a ton of them. My voice is getting hoarse from going through all of them. But what do you think of it all? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me, we have a Discord server for the channel, and that is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. This is either via Patreon or YouTube members using one of our affiliate links and codes down there, like Baron of Dice, Gap Games, or Mithras Games, or by supporting us directly on Patreon or YouTube members. If you'd like to do any of those, we have links for that all in the description. And as a special thank you to our Patrons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Soren, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Cure Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallers, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. And our YouTube members, Greenridge Gaming, Ronya, Lock Loric, The Johnny84, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, James Tillman, Disco, and John Castle. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Once again, everyone, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.